So I just finished the live. So what would have been happening during that window? Conversations would have been feeding back in to the bot. Let's check the computer. My software here, we've had 317 leads contacted. We've had a reply rate of 83.91%, right? So this is now having all these conversations. There literally is hundreds here. The idea here is now pre-framing information. We're getting affordability, time constraints, and then also whether or not they're ready to take action. And then what it's going to do is push for a call with a closer. Also, our software will have memory across all of those things. So it will remember the number, remember the email. So if they emailed us, for example, or we were having an email conversation, then they messaged us on WhatsApp, it would remember the conversation that they were having about the fact that they've got 3 dogs. And so we got about 10,000 unique visitors on that very short live. It was actually under half an hour. We have had, as of today, after the closing calls, 9 payments of $2,997 for the e-com mentorship they were offering. So that's about $27,000 in under half an hour of TikTok Live. Is because we now have the ability to have 500 conversations simultaneously. As I showed you on the conversation yesterday, it was having all the conversations quickly. I could set the parameters for a call booking for the same day. So this is my TikTok Live spot. I use this spot because it's a pattern interrupt for this. So if you scroll through TikTok, like any other platform, the main goal is to get people to stop on what you're doing. And what we found with TikTok specifically is when people scroll through random TikTok lives and they stop for a while because of whatever reason, it will drastically increase the level at which it gets pushed out to the For You page, which is like the recommendation page on TikTok. Now, because I have a Lamborghini behind me and a house, you don't need to do this, but you need to do something that captures attention. Like even wearing something like a green suit, right, helps. The fact that I'm on my driveway, people think that it's a green screen or aren't quite sure what the hell this guy's doing on TikTok Live. It stops people. And then what we tend to find is my TikTok lives hit some of the highest levels in the world. So we end up in like all the top leagues for engagement and viewership. So for example, in half an hour, I'll expect to see 10 to 15,000 people join the live in half an hour. If I stayed on longer, I'll get up to about 30, 40,000 for maybe an hour because it's exponential. What I'm going to be doing is using this as the front end funnel to drive leads through to a landing page which has a WhatsApp conversation on. And the WhatsApp conversation will trigger my AI sales team who are effectively going to be using that to pre-frame leads at scale, because what you're going to find with TikTok is the quality of lead is extremely low. Now, if you've got an extremely low quality lead, having manual follow-ups with these leads is extremely tiring, right? So we have had times before where we've done these kind of lives, but we've then had manual phoning, which then just destroys the sales team. They're just absolutely exhausted, right? What we then do now instead is we employ or deploy AI to filter through all of the crap effectively. So there's like, you might even find 95% of the leads aren't pre-qualified. So this will just do it all simultaneously. We'll run into the office after. I'll show you the back ends of the systems, I'll show you how I've set it up, and I'll show you how this works so incredibly well. Now I'm using TikTok Live to bring people in on the front end, but we can also use ads, we can use organics, we can use influencer marketing, we do lots of different stuff, right? This is just for an example and demonstration purposes of the funnel I have built out. It can be glorious. So I just finished the live. So what would have been happening during that window is, I'm hoping, conversations would have been feeding back in to the bot. So let's check the computer. Nicola's been behind the camera. So we've got conversations coming through? Yeah, right. So we've got my software here. So we've had 317 leads contacted, 266 leads replies so far. We've had a reply rate of 83.91%, right? So I'll show you the agents in a minute, but this is my software, mine and Matteo's software. So we can see here there is fucking loads of conversations, like 152, 152, 152, 151, 151, 151, 151, 151. There's like 149, 148, 148. There is literally bucket loads of conversation. Christ, there's tons, right? So we can see all of the conversations that are happening here. Set the bot to reply at a relatively slow rate. So it's like 30 seconds to a minute and a half. So it varies. We've also, I'll show you the workflow so we can customize this as advanced as we want. So we've also set it so that there's a character limit and then it'll split into conversations so it sounds more human. It's unbelievably, with WhatsApp, we have to send out a generic first message, but then after this, it's like, are you new to this? Yes, I am. Love that you're diving in. Or is there anything that in the explainer video that grabbed you or got you curious about trying affiliate marketing? A smiley face. I'm not sure, I've always thought about trying this sort of thing, totally get that. So This is now having all these conversations. Like there's hundreds here. There literally is hundreds here, by the looks of it. Tons. The idea here is now pre-framing information. We're getting affordability, time constraints, and then also whether or not they're ready to take action. And then what he's going to do is push for a call with a closer. So we could sell in the DMs, but we're finding now if like of 200 to 300 leads, if I can get 5 or 6 of those pre-framed and ready to go, and we even close say 50, 60% because of the good pre-framing. Off of one TikTok live, something like this with a £2,500 service, you know, we can do, I'll probably do 5 to 10K off of, that was 1.5 an hour live. And this is because of the AI. Before I was paying setters, paying big sales teams, I've literally just got 2 closers. This all feeds into their GHL calendar. So if those of you don't know what that is, it's a CRM system. So when it books in, it'll book in the CRM calendar into that particular person. And we've set it so that it'll evenly distribute between the 2 closers. So if you've got 30 different closers, you can have it pinging through that. Plus, what we've also coded this to do is it will improve itself based on reply rates, based on booking rates, and will feed back information to me so I can go back in and fine tune it. So what we have here is, I'll show you this. So we have different agents. So this is this agent. So we've obviously got an agent trigger from basically a link on the landing page to the WhatsApp. Now, you go into here, this is our workflow for these conversations, right? So every single step. So we've trained the AI to understand who I am, what the purpose of the conversations are, understand fully what the service is, understand how to negotiate, tones, reply times. There is so much complexity here, but it's so simple to actually code in. So there's output flows, and it's all really easy to use. I know it sounds complicated, but we've made this software unbelievably simple to use. And the great thing about it is, it takes a bit of time to set up the workflow, but once you've actually started driving through every single conversation, now then gives us feedback to improve. So we're just making it better and better and better. This is just absolutely profound. And like I said, with the ability, if we wanted to, we could just dial. We can pick up the phone and dial. When the person starts the WhatsApp conversation, we're taking their mobile number, we're taking their email. So we can SMS them, we can email them. And also our software will have memory across all of those things. So it will remember the number, it will remember the email. So if they emailed us, for example, or we were having an email conversation, then they messaged us on WhatsApp, it would remember the conversation that they were having about the fact that they've got 3 dogs. It will pull from all different sources or conversations had with that same client. And the really cool aspect now is as well, which I just want to add in here, is we have now created it so that if we have someone's credit card details on system, providing we have written confirmation, we can recharge them for an additional service. So for example, let's just say they'd booked in, we had them on file for having booked in for a $7 webinar. This is what we've been doing, right? And then they didn't upsell to the VIP package. In the conversation, you say, hey, you didn't upsell to the VIP package. If we were to give you a 50% discount, would that float your boat? And if they say yes, we could say, right, as long as you agree and you give us written communication, we can actually charge your card and do that for you. So you don't have to do anything, and we'll book it all in for you into your calendar because we already have your details. Is that okay? Yes. Bang. Tell me this isn't the fucking future. And like I said, any businesses that are looking to bring systems like this in, and if you're not, you're going to get left behind, I promise you, because this is changing my life. We're one day after the TikTok live I did yesterday. As I said, we got about 10,000 unique visitors on that very short live. It was actually under half an hour. We have had, as of today, after the closing calls, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 payments of $2,997 for the e-com mentorship they were offering. So that's about $27,000 in under half an hour of TikTok live. And the reason that was so successful was because of the AI sales agent. And I used to do these a lot, and we would get maybe at a max $6,000, where we just had $27,000. And I'm gonna go over to my whiteboard and explain exactly quickly why this system has made this result 3 to 4 times more lucrative and higher return. I'll quickly demonstrate what we did and why this works so well on a whiteboard. I won't bore you to death, but just to really illustrate what's happened. So we have our Wise AI software, which is our agent. Now what we did was we did a TikTok live, so we do TikTok to a landing page. Now this TikTok could have been ads, it could have been influencer marketing, could have been stories, it could have been any other form of traffic, but just for this particular funnel, we did TikTok. Now this went through to a landing page. Now what we did was, on this landing page, all I did was have a description of what was in our mentorship and a WhatsApp message to WhatsApp one of our team. So people that were going for my TikTok live interested in e-com mentorship went through to this landing page, and rather than go through to some form or whatever else, we captured some information. So we captured information, right? We got email, name, phone number, And then that springed into a WhatsApp conversation. And based on my dashboard that I can see, because our Wise AI will show you how many conversations started, we had over 500 conversations started. That was then having a conversation with AI. People thought it was a human. And obviously the way I've trained this AI is to reason, is to give advice, and it's to pre-frame and book a call. So the main objective is to book a call, providing the customer or the lead conforms to the fact that they can pay a certain amount of money, they don't have time constraints, and they are willing to move forward right now. Now, one of the clever things that we do is because we now have the ability to have 500 conversations simultaneously, as I showed you on the conversation yesterday, it was having all the conversations quickly, I could set the parameters for a call booking for the same day. Now, what most people do when they do these sales funnels is they obviously have to nurture all the leads, which takes a long time. Honestly, the time it takes you to speak to a lead, get back to them after having them having interacted with your brand or whatever your content was, is so important. Now, I can have 500 conversations minutes after the TikTok live or even during the TikTok live. That is profound, because then what happens is while people are still warm and they're still engaged, the AI is booking calls. So this call booking system was going through and only booking same day appointments. So we blocked off for 12 hours ahead. They couldn't book next day, because what we found is if you want to optimize for closes, the faster you can get someone on a phone call, the faster you can get them on a sales call, the faster or more likely they will close. Now, what happened is we then pre-framed, I think we had a 60% close rate. So we ended up with 9 times $2,997 packages for 6-month mentorships, which ended up being 27K in total revenue off of a 30-minute TikTok live. So because I set the constraints so that we only booked in with the closing team, we have 2 closers, we booked in with the closing team for the same day, so they're only automatically booked into their Go High Level calendars to the closing team, and I set it so that the AI was going to allocate evenly between the 2 closers. So it would say, okay, once it's having a conversation with the lead, if however the lead didn't actually fit into the time constraints of the person we're trying to fit to, it would then default to the other person's calendar, depending on how fast they're getting booked up, because obviously when we're having this many conversations, their calendar gets booked pretty quickly. And that resulted in $27,000 of closed revenue from a half an hour TikTok, because the AI was able to have that many conversations, where typically a live of that amount would get me between $3,000 to $6,000, sometimes none, because we weren't able to hit the leads and nurture the leads fast enough. And because we can now change the constraints and we could do things much faster, we were able to generate this level of income, which is absolutely profound. And what I'm going to be doing on this YouTube is showing a lot more of the behind the scenes of how I'm integrating AI and branding into businesses, so that you can see the in the trenches build out. So I'm going to show you actually how I'm building flows and how it works and all the different options that you can have, and ultimately give you a bit of an insight into this world is moving so bloody quickly. It's exciting if you're on the right side of it. If you're competing against someone like me, good luck. Make sure you subscribe and see you on the next video.